You ever have one of those moments where you look around your quiet, ordinary neighborhood and think, yeah, nothing crazy could ever happen here, and then bam, all hell breaks loose before you've had your morning coffee? That's how it started for us in Maplewood Estates. I mean, who knew that a couple of trash cans left out after a kid's birthday party would turn our peaceful cul-de-sac into something out of a reality TV meltdown, except with less Botox and way more pepper spray? It always starts small, right? The Ramirez family, they're good people, hardworking, friendly, always waving at folks, had just thrown a wild, cake-fueled birthday bash for their little girl. Balloons still dangling in the breeze, streamers hanging off the mailbox, the kind of thing that reminds you what community is supposed to be. But in all the chaos of sugar highs and squealing kids, they forgot to drag their trash bins back behind the fence before midnight. That's it. That's the crime. By the time most of us were pouring our second cup of coffee the next morning, Karen, that Karen, the one who walks around in a tennis visor and sunglasses big enough to land a helicopter on, was already marching across the street, phone in hand, like she was auditioning for CSI Suburbia. She's snapping pictures of the bins, muttering, "Violation, violation," under her breath like some kind of trash can whisperer scribbling furiously on a yellow notepad. I swear the only thing missing was police tape in a forensics van. The Ramirez kids are peeking through their curtains wide-eyed, not sure if they should laugh or hide. Karen crouched down, even inspecting the recycling labels like maybe she'd uncover an illegal yogurt cup smuggling ring. And by noon, she'd already posted on the HOA bulletin board in all caps, accusing the Ramirezes of habitual non-compliance and threatening to slap them with escalating fines if they so much as breathed in the wrong direction. But you know what? This time they weren't having it. Mr. Ramirez, usually the quietest guy on the block, ripped that notice right off his front door and crumpled it up in front of her, just stared her down and said, "We're done with your harassment, Karen. We're calling the board ourselves." You should have seen her face. Karen gasped like he'd just insulted her entire bloodline. She turned as red as her lipstick, started shrieking that she was the board, that anyone who defied her was basically a terrorist or something. I mean, the drama level was off the charts. By this point, people were starting to come outside curious, mostly, but let's be real, everyone had their phones out. It was the middle of the afternoon, and the tension was thick enough to spread on toast. Karen, realizing she was losing control of her loyal audience, stormed back to her house and came charging out just a couple minutes later, holding something in her fist. For a second, nobody could tell what it was until she got closer. It was a can of pepper spray. She was waving it around like a sheriff's badge, yelling, "If the HOA rules won't be respected, I'll enforce them myself." And just like that, the entire street kind of froze. Some people started yelling for her to put it down. Others stepped back, holding on to their kids, because honestly, you never quite know with Karen. Kids started crying. Dogs were barking. The chaos was contagious. That's when somebody called the cops. You could hear the sirens blocks away, that distant wail getting louder and louder until 2 patrol cars skidded up right in front of Karen's house. The officers get out calm, hands up, doing that thing where they're trying to diffuse everything with their voices. "Ma'am, put the spray down. Let's talk this through." But Karen, oh boy, she was past talking. She was in full-on meltdown mode, shaking her head, holding that canister tighter than a toddler clutching their favorite stuffed animal. "They don't respect order. They're trashing the neighborhood, and now you're siding with them," she screamed, backing into the middle of the street, wild-eyed. The Ramirez family was huddled together, neighbors crowding their lawns, everyone's phones pointed at the circus, recording every second. The officers tried again. "Karen, no one's a threat here. Put the spray down, please. We don't want anyone getting hurt." But it was like she couldn't even hear them, and that's when she snapped. She started rambling about conspiracies, how everybody was out to get her, how law enforcement should answer to the HOA, like we'd all wandered into some alternate universe where neighborhood watch is a branch of government. Then out of nowhere, she raised the canister and sprayed 2 officers square in the face. You ever heard the sound pepper spray makes? It's this sharp hiss followed by immediate chaos. Officers staggering back, eyes streaming, coughing, the crowd screaming. Kids shrieked, dogs howled, and everyone scrambled, some running from Karen, some running from the blinded cops. The Ramirez family grabbed their kids and bolted inside, slamming the door behind them. But Karen, she just stood there, chest heaving, holding that can of pepper spray high above her head like she'd just conquered Everest. "This is my neighborhood," she shrieked. "I am the authority here." The two officers are struggling, radios crackling as they call for backup, and within minutes it felt like every cop in town descended on Maplewood Estates. More cruisers pulled up this time with officers in tactical gear, barking orders, setting up a perimeter. I'll tell you, I never thought I'd see a SWAT-style standoff outside my own house, but hey, that's HOA life for you. Neighbors hid behind hedges, filming from behind garden gnomes, narrating like they were reporting live from the scene. Others just shouting for the kids to get inside. Karen wasn't done. She sprayed again this time, catching poor Mrs. Foster, who'd only come out to walk her poodle. Down she went, coughing and gasping on her lawn. "She's insane," someone yelled. "Get her out before she hurts somebody," another cried. The police advanced, shields up, voices calm but firm. Karen was screaming about dictatorship and illegal oppression, waving the can around until finally the thing sputtered and died. She shook it like a maniac, eyes wild, but that was it. She was out of ammo. That's when two officers saw their chance and rushed her. She shrieked and fought like a cornered cat, kicking, scratching, screaming threats about lawsuits and how she owned the whole street. But they wrestled her down, cuffed her right there on the asphalt, while everyone's phones zoomed in, capturing every second. Even as they dragged her to her feet, robe half off, hair sticking up like she'd stuck her finger in a socket, Karen was still screaming, spitting insults at neighbors, vowing revenge, threatening to sue anyone who so much as blinked in her direction. Paramedics rushed in, tending to the sprayed officers, and poor Mrs. Foster, who looked like she'd rather take her chances with a tornado than go back outside anytime soon. And then for a few minutes, there was just this stunned silence, like the whole world had hit pause. You could smell the pepper spray in the air, stinging your throat, making your eyes water, even if you were standing on the far side of the cul-de-sac. Yellow crime scene tape went up across driveways, red and blue lights flashing off every window. Karen was shoved in the back of a police cruiser, still ranting, her voice muffled, but her silhouette thrashing around like some wild animal trapped behind glass. When the last police car rolled away and the sirens faded, all you could hear was the hum of radios and the soft, shell-shocked crying of kids. We all just sort of stood there looking at each other, wondering if we'd really seen what we just saw. The Ramirez family peeked out from their window, shaken, but finally safe. Maybe a little vindicated, too. I'll tell you, nobody in Maplewood Estates will ever forget the day Karen tried to turn our street into her own private police state. And here's the thing. You never really know what's hiding behind those carefully trimmed hedges, or what one small spark can set off in a place like this. Maybe that's the real lesson. Sometimes it's not about trash cans or party decorations at all. It's about power and what happens when somebody decides they're above the rules. So what do you think? Is justice served when the loudest voice finally gets silenced, or is there something broken in the way we let these little kingdoms run? I want to hear your take. Drop a comment below. Ever lived through a neighborhood showdown like this? Let's hear your wildest HOA stories, your take on who's right, who's wrong, and what order really means when it's your home on the line.